What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Books by Adrian YouTube channel. This channel will now be home to 3 different shows. The channel is Books by Adrian, but it is home to 3 different shows. One will be the live stream Sundays. I will continue to do those. They will not be every Sunday. There will be every Sunday that I'm able to line up a guest. I feel like live stream Sundays are best and most successful when I have a guest, somebody to talk to, somebody to bounce off of. And I usually line up my guests a good 2 weeks in advance or more. So rest assured that I will always be able to update you guys either on my Instagram, through my newsletter, available on my website, or right here on YouTube about upcoming live stream Sundays. The second change to live stream Sunday is that after the live stream has ended, I will be turning that into a private video on YouTube that cannot be rewatched by you guys. Instead, I will download the live stream. I will edit in some of my animations and reminders for subscriptions and all that kind of stuff. Make it a YouTube video essentially, and then re-upload it as a new video. This accomplishes a few things. Number one, it is more accessible to people who missed the live stream to actually re-watch it because it's a little bit more of a production. Secondly, it puts real value into the comments from the chat that I display on the video itself, because those will be the only comments from the chat that will make it into the rewatch video when I re-upload it. This means that I will be only sharing very pertinent comments from the chat that pertain to the topic in the live stream with my guest at the time. And the third thing that this accomplishes is it creates a sort of event thing with the live stream itself, meaning if you want to know what is going on in the chat, if you want to participate in all the great conversations that happen in the chat during one of my live streams, the comments that I do not put on the screen, those you can only experience and participate in live on the day. The second video type is what I would like to think of as my new flagship show on this channel. You'll notice that this episode is divided into segments. In each segment, there's a different topic, and I can speak for a few minutes on that topic very briefly or at length if I want to. This accomplishes several things. It allows me to be able to record short little clips here and there whenever I find time that I can then stitch together later on in the editing room. The other thing it accomplishes is allows for folks who do not have time to watch a whole 10-minute or 20-minute or 30-minute video. They can watch these short little segments. And at the end of each segment, if they got to run, they can stop it. They can go do whatever they got to do. When they come back, guess what? They can pick it up right where they left off and see a brand new segment. This will hopefully make each episode a little more digestible for you guys and a little more accessible for new people. Thirdly, this allows you guys to communicate directly with me, whether it's in my comments section under this video or in my Instagram, and let me know which segments you really enjoy, what you want to know more about, what segments you think should be longer, which ones should be shorter, which ones should be cut out. In this way, I can continue to improve the episodes, and in that way, the show will always be fresh and new, and you won't get sick of me. The third show hosted on this website will be a monthly Patreon exclusive. I will be hosting those exclusive Patreon videos on this YouTube channel, but they will be made unlisted so that you would need the link to go watch them, and that's just for my Patreon subscribers. If you would like to join my Patreon, all the information is in the description below. You can reach it by going to my website, booksbyadrian.com, and clicking on the Patreon button in the top right-hand corner. Alternatively, you can go directly to patreon.com/booksbyadrian. The other thing that all of this change and growth does for my book is that by making several segments tracking the development of my novel, I will be able to be held accountable for my word count, my goal, having frequent updates for you guys, and keeping progress going. In other words, I was searching for a balance, and I think that this is the way to do it, by making the author platform what it was always meant to be, a chronicle of the creation of my novel by actually chronicling the creation of my novel. And that way I'm always creating on both sides and they are feeding each other. Welcome to the Gail Bedecker Memorial Coffee Corner. In this segment, on every episode of these that I put up, I will be sharing with you what coffee I'm drinking. This beautiful Books by Adrian mug with my mug on it is holding what I consider my favorite coffee. I figure that I'm not going to be able to talk about coffees on a regular basis and compare them without actually giving you guys some sort of a rating or a review of the coffee itself. That being said, I love coffee. I really don't like bad coffee, and there's a lot of bad coffee. There is also a lot of cheap coffee that's considered bad coffee, but it's actually not bad. And of course, there's really, really great gourmet stuff. I thought that I would start this very first coffee corner with what I consider to be the very best of what I have tasted, and that is from the Kookaburra Coffee House in St. Augustine. This delicious Brasil Mantequera de Minas coffee has notes of chocolate, berry, and vanilla nougat. And I'll tell you what, like a wine connoisseur, you can tell. Like, you can taste the chocolate in there. You can taste the nougat, vanilla nougat. The vanilla is not overpowering, which is very nice. The nougat is very fluffy and kind of sweet and chocolatey, but whipped sort of. Oh, it's so good. And it's just a regular cup of coffee. I just put a little sugar in it. It doesn't have any kind of flavoring. That's something that I really like about these coffees. You know, sometimes you'll buy, a bag of Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts or something. And I actually really like Dunkin' Donuts coffee, and they may make appearances in Coffee Corner. But if you get like a hazelnut, ground coffee from Dunkin' Donuts, the hazelnut is flavoring. They didn't grow coffee beans flavored with hazelnut. These guys grow coffee beans flavored with chocolate, berry, and vanilla nougat. What? It's bananas. Freaking love it. This is my favorite cup of coffee. If I'm giving ratings, this is a 5 out of 5. 5 beans out of 5 beans. That's so damn good. All right. Now, what's better with a cup of coffee than a good book? Currently, my Patreon subscribers are participating in our very first book club. The book for this first book club is Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. And my apologies to the brilliant writer of this book if I have butchered her name, which I'm sure that I have. But this particular novel is a masterful work of art, and I'm only 6 chapters in. Yes, I am behind my other readers in the book club, but like I said, I'm a busy dude. And you know what? I'm getting caught up because now I have this book club check-in on every episode that I need to have made progress on, or else y'all are gonna grill me. So, and I stand corrected, I have read 7 chapters, and I will be starting chapter 8. This book is so much more than what I expected, which is a lot to say because it comes very highly recommended. It's part of a wonderful movement in the reader community. This book is very highly regarded, and rightfully so. And yet, it is far more than I expected when I went into it. Again, just 7 chapters in. The world building is incredible. I particularly like the map in the front of the book because it reminds me of like a map you might see in a Peter Pan story. You know, the map of Neverland, the way it'll have like a singular ship and label it Pirates or Captain Hook and his crew, and then like the tree, right? And you have the Lost Boys, and one spot where the mermaids are, and one spot where, you know, and it's this kind of playful and fanciful map that almost looks appropriate for children, or does look appropriate for children. But in this case, this is a very dark story with a lot of violence in it, and I just find that map incredibly charming and providing a sense of playfulness that the book toys with in a very dark way. I don't want to say too much about this book. I'm sure that there is plenty already said out there about it. If you're looking for spoilers, you're sure to find some online. But I highly recommend you avoid the spoilers and dive in as blind as possible. I honestly didn't know anything about the actual story when I dove into it. It's blown me away. I'm loving every minute of it. Today I want to talk to you about a graphic novel called God Country. It's written by Donnie Cates with art by Jeff Shaw, colors by Jason Wordie, and lettering by John J. Hill. God Country blew me away. This book is about a sword who is basically a god. And this sword falls from the heavens one day into this, basically this, middle of nowhere kind of town. Very Thor's hammer falling out into the desert, that kind of thing. But the sword is like the god of swords. So any legendary sword that you can think of, Excalibur from King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table, Lightbringer from A Song of Ice and Fire, lightsabers, this sword is the god of all of those swords. The story follows a man whose marriage is a little rocky. He is trying to stay connected to his daughter, but they have to go back home and take care of his sick and aging father. His father, who is in his golden years, as they say, is suffering from dementia and Alzheimer's until he discovers the sword. The sword makes him well again. It makes him lucid. It makes him clear and healthy and strong. It makes him able to be a good grandfather to his granddaughter. It makes him able to be a good father to his son, who has resented him for so long. It provides him with everything that he needs to be self-sufficient and healthy. But this sword does not belong to him. And therefore, the god that owns this sword is coming to get it. Now, the same thing would be for this man to give the sword up to this crazy powerful god, but the sword makes him powerful too, and instead of give up the thing that makes him whole, he decides to fight. The artwork in this book is absolutely stunning. It's absolutely fantastic. This story is a single volume. It does not continue beyond this one graphic novel. It is rated M for mature, not for kiddies, but I highly recommend it to each and every one of you. For our first movie corner, I am going to break the rule. Or rather, make a new rule. Movie corner is for movies and for TV shows. In my eyes, they are both film. They are just two different formats, one of which is for short stories and one is for long form series. That's otherwise same damn thing. In the same way that a novella is just a small novel. That's just what it is. So for our first movie corner, I'm going to talk about the show that I have been watching with my wife. My wife and I don't get a lot of time to watch shows. We don't get to binge things like other couples might. We tend to have enough time most nights to watch one episode of something. On the rare night where we get the kids to sleep at a very early hour, we are able to get 2 episodes in of something. So, add to that the fact that my wife is not a fan of watching an episode of something and then waiting a week to watch another one. She doesn't like watching things as they are coming out. She likes to watch them once that they are already done so that she can just see the whole story from beginning to end without stopping and then move on to a whole new show. For example, we had watched all of Mr. Robot all the way through season 3. But we had caught up to the show. We had to wait for season 4. And in that wait, we started watching other stuff. And now going back for her, I've already seen it before, but now going back to finish season 4, the final season of Mr. Robot, she finds it hard to start because it's been so long. She doesn't remember what happened before. She doesn't want to watch the show again. So there's not a lot of incentive to dive back in and finish it for her. That being said, the show that we are watching now is Justified. Now, I had watched Justified seasons 1 through 4. I had not seen any of season 5 or 6 yet. I just caught up to all of season 5 with my wife, and we just started season 6 a few nights ago. We're 2 or 3 episodes in. This is one of my favorite shows of all time. Season 2 might be one of the best seasons of television, right up there with stuff that Breaking Bad did in its early seasons. It is, and I think that season 3 is underrated as well. Season 5 had some real surprises for me that I did not see coming. And all in all, I've been blown away with this series so far. It's been absolutely fantastic. Timothy Oliphant as Raylan Givens, you can't go wrong. He is on his character on that show is everything that I aspire to be, in the sense that he is a world-class asshole, but he's right. So you can't really be mad at him. I like that. I like when somebody can be a complete asshole, but because they're right, you just can't argue. It's the best. And Raylan is the best at that. One of my favorite things that Raylan does, and it's happened more than once on the show, is he'll be driving. He will notice a car is following him. Even if he has a passenger in the car and they think that he's crazy paranoid for thinking that there's a car following him, he'll be watching in the mirror. He's making turns. He's watching them make those turns. And then he gets to a red light, or a stop sign, actually, I think. He stops the car. He excuses himself from his passenger, and he gets out of the car. And he walks back to the car that's following him. And he walks up to their window. And he says to them, I'm a little hungover from last night, and, that's my bad. So maybe that's why I'm a little, goofy tonight or whatever. But it seems like you're following me. I don't know why you would be following me. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to make a right-hand turn at this stop sign. You're going to go left. If you go right, we're going to have a problem because I'm going to come back here and I'm going to have some questions. Go left. And then he gets back in his car and he drives off and he makes that right. And I just love the shot of that rear view mirror as you see them turn left. And it's like, you magnificent bastard. How did you do that? You just got to love it. All he does, he puts his hand on that gun hip and man, it's over. You don't fuck with Raylan Givens. I love that show. It's fantastic. Walton Goggins, by the way, on that show as Boyd Crowder. If Raylan Givens was Batman, Boyd Crowder would be the Joker. The Joker to his Batman. Boyd Crowder is one of the all-time great villains. I'm really into it. And at times, he's kind of an anti-hero. Rather than a full-on villain. So his arc is very interesting. And man, I can't wait to see how it wraps up. Writing the Mythic series. Still on book 1, Shadow of the Spark. At the moment, my word count sits at 54,000. I will be setting a goal for December of 25,000 words. Half of a NaNoWriMo. If I can't pull that off, then I'm in the wrong business. So 25,000 words in December. I will keep track of the progress on my Dabble account, keep you guys appraised as well, so that you know that the progress is being made. My current project, as mentioned, is the manuscript editing that's going on right now. It's sort of a restructuring of the outline. I'm having to make some hard choices that I didn't foresee having to make, including the possibility of cutting entire chapters worth of content, points of view chapters that feature characters that, maybe my list of characters is growing a little too big. Maybe I have a little bit of George Martin syndrome. So I'm going to have to scale back a little bit. I'm working on streamlining it, getting a little tighter, and try to get the word count of the final book down a bit, because I'm still projecting a fairly large book. And for your first book, you don't want it to be too big. Most recently, thanks to my Patreon subscribers, I was able to commission a portrait of one of my three main characters. I settled on the character of Faye because she is featured in the prologue, which is available to read on my website, booksbyadrian.com. I have included the images, the portraits that Odette A. Bach has painted for us of Faye. I'm intending to commission for Migdalia and Lear as well in the near future, once we have raised a little bit more money in our Patreon. If you would like to contribute to the artwork being created for the book, please go over to patreon.com/booksbyadrian or click the link in the description. You can join for as little as $3 a month, but I implore you to look to the higher tiers as the benefits are pretty awesome. Now, normally each one of these new format episodes would include a topic of the episode in this particular segment. Today, we're just going to kind of talk loosely about where this is all going, so to speak. The topic on my next video will probably be maps. I will make a map for Gaia, the planet in my story, document the creation of that map, and share it with you guys on the video next week. In the meantime, for today's topic, I would like to talk about this, our flagship show on the channel. I have called it the flagship show several times during this video. I know that you're probably wondering what it's actually going to be called. Well, guess what? So am I. The channel is Books by Adrian, but this particular show needs a title, and I don't have one. It is a show made up of segments. These segments are often referred to as corners. So I was trying to find something with corner, but it all sounded kind of lame, and like I wasn't falling in love with anything. So I would like to put it to you guys. If you would like to drop a comment below the video, leaving me your suggestion for what this flagship show should be called. So we would have one show called Livestream Sundays. We would have one show called the Patreon Exclusive, which will be a Patreon exclusive. And then this show should have its own title. And that way you always know the difference between the videos as you're scrolling through my feed. And every time a new notification comes up, you know if you want to join right away because it's a live stream video. If you want to join right away because it is a premiere of this episode and you want to participate in the chat, or you would like to wait until a later time to watch it. Either way, please subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell on this video, and then go down to the comments and tell me what you would like this show to be called. Before we sign off, I would like to show some appreciation to my patrons over on Patreon with the following list. Thank you so much for being here. Please come back. This show will happen twice a month, every month at least, if not more. The live stream Sunday will happen every time I have a guest lined up. What was your favorite segment of this episode? What's a segment you would like to see added on in the future? What segment was complete garbage and should be discarded immediately? Let me know in the comments below. Stay safe, stay healthy, and love each other.